Om Shri Paramatmane Namah. Many times, many seekers ask a question regarding their worldly achievements, and they describe also how they are doing, for example, business, service, any profession, and what problems are there. Sometimes they have profit, sometimes there is loss. It happens. And there is nothing wrong when somebody becomes worried about these changes, particularly when somebody is finding decrease in business or some problems in other worldly things. In this connection, many times I explained the reason why all such developments happen. Again I am explaining, trying to describe. In worldly matters, it may be business, profession, all other things. In worldly matters, there are three factors which should be there. Only then worldly desires are fulfilled. One factor is desire. First of all, there should be desire for a particular thing. Second thing is effort. And the third thing is destiny. In worldly things, these three, when they are all three, then things start happening. If there is no desire, there is no question of any development in the worldly matters, not even beginning of certain thing. If there is desire but one does not make effort, then also no success. But even when there is deep desire, very strong desire, and one makes all the possible efforts, many times there is no success. So I was explaining that desire is there for something worldly. Take the example of business. Effort is also there, full effort, yet there is no achievement. Because the third factor for worldly things is destiny. Nobody can avoid it. Destiny factor remains there. Desire, effort, destiny. What is destiny? Destiny is also the result of our own karmas in the previous lives. Many times I explained human life primarily is based on karma. And there is a division of karma, sanchita karma and prarabdha karma and kriyamana karma. All that I explained many times. Anyway, so prarabdha karma also is there. Without prarabdha karma, nobody can succeed. But even if there is prarabdha karma, situation will come, but one does not make the effort, or there is no desire. So when there is a combination of all the three, many seekers say about two first factors, desire and effort, we are ready, but what to do about the third? Because one has no control over it. They want to get rid of it. It's not possible. It will be there. This is regarding worldly achievements. Now another very important and interesting factor is that for God realization only desire is required. Only desire. It looks very strange how I am going to call myself, because you call me Guruji. Then I said one should not become anyway, because many times you will say that Guruji, what are you saying? Yes, for self-realization or for God experience, only desire is required. But there is one condition. That should be the only desire. No other desire with it. Ananya. That question was asked one day. What is Ananya? Omji is here today. That day I gave the example. Earlier when he used to come, almost every day from JDA, now he lives at a distance. Once he said a very nice thing. I said one day in the satsang, he said Gita is the highest wisdom on earth. There is no doubt. We have all the faith. But God has put so many ifs and buts. Ifs and buts. So without ifs and buts you can't proceed anyway. Only deep desire. But that should be the only desire in life. No other desire at all. And it is not easy. But you will know, gradually you will know. A point comes in life when one has the realization that everything else is useless. But unless that point comes in life, one has several desires. And along with other desires, one has this desire of self-realization or God experience also. We all are acquainted with that book written by Swami Ram Sukdas ji, and that famous saying of the great devotee in Rajasthan, Meera. Meera says, "Mere to Girdhar Gopal, dusra na koi." This dusra na koi is very important. Everybody wants Girdhar Gopal, but most 99.9% say, "Mere to Girdhar Gopal, but also my son should be in IAS. But also I must have wealth. But also people recognize me." Like that. Meera says, the great devotee, Meera says, "Mere to Girdhar Gopal, dusra na koi." No other. So when that situation develops, I am saying develops because it does not happen in a day. Step by step, and therefore don't be disheartened if this situation is not today. You are proceeding towards that, all you are proceeding. So, one thing more in this connection, in this path, particularly here in India, from times immemorial, innumerable experiments were made by the great seers, rishis, and therefore so many paths are there, and they all are correct. But there is a great difference also in their approach to the goal. Those who are doing work in the world, in business, etc., if they become an instrument of divine work only, if they are ready to surrender whatever they have in the world to God, then there is no conflict. You work in the world, and if you earn a lot of money, don't consider that money as yours. Consider it divine money for divine cause. That has been said in the Bhagavad Gita, Swe karmana tam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manavah. Many times I explained about this karma. 4 stages are there. And as I said several times that repetition in spirituality is never a drawback, rather it is there. It should be there. The purpose in spirituality is not to memorize something, but transformation, inner transformation, to become like that. The lowest stage is what is known as Nishiddha karma. In Gita it is said as vikarma, prohibited activity. Quite a large number of people are involved in that. All this taking bribe in the offices and so many things, that is all prohibited, Nishiddha karma. In the life of a true seeker, there should be no place for Nishiddha karma, Dushita karma. What is said in the Bhagavad Gita is vikarma. After one gives up completely Nishiddha karma, then from inside itself of the individual arises the next stage, prescribed sakam karma, vihita sakam karma. I gave the example many times. That mentality is there. I work in the office and I perform my duty fully with all my capacity, and for that I get income, salary. I need it. That attitude is there. But I will not do any prohibited thing. Sakam vihita karma. Prescribed that action, that karma, for which we get something in return. Sakam. After that a stage, another stage develops. One comes to the conclusion that life is there, but there is no happiness. Life starts becoming as a sort of burden. And what is the use of existence unless we become of use to others? Seva. Then seva comes into existence. Without our eyes on the return. In true seva, there is no eyes on return. Nothing. This is important for the reason that many times there is hypocrisy in the so-called seva service. Some people are doing some charitable work, some service, waiting for the photographer. He should come, photograph, to next day it should be in the paper. That is not true seva. That is not service. Those who have money should give it to those who are deserving and needy. Both things must be there, deserving and needy. A drunkard may be needy, but not deserving. There may be a very nice man, deserving, but not needy. Both the things should be there. Anyway, so then seva, real seva. The highest evolution in that grade of seva, service, is a stage comes inside. The person starts feeling that the person whom I am serving is doing great thing for me. I am grateful to him or her that he or she is accepting my service. He or she could have refused. So such a person is giving me an opportunity for my evolution. One should not feel proud of doing something for others. One should feel grateful to those whom he is able to serve. Then this higher stage comes. But even there, when the attitude is of service, even there exists an element of ego. It is hidden. One somewhere in the inner self feels, after all, I am in such a position that I am serving others and there are people who need my service. That means I am better. This is also an obstacle. Step by step, the highest stage comes. Action becomes worship, puja. In worship, the worshipper is lower than the person worshipped. And this is what is said by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita. Swe karmana tam abhyarcha. The word abhyarcha is there. Puja. Through our own deeds, we worship. Swe karmana tam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. Human beings or a human being achieves siddhi. Siddhi is only one in Bhagavad Gita. God realization, self-realization. There are no other siddhis there. They are useless also. Those many siddhis are given in Yoga Sutra of Patanjali Maharishi. There is a complete chapter there. But one sutra there is that one becomes famous, is known as a yogi and all that. But then there is no possibility of self-realization. One has to pass life according to that whether sermon or saying which I happen to tell one of our very great seekers, late Dr. Srinivas ji. You all know, most of you know, very noble man, very learned man, first student in MBBS in the SMS, first batch. Also Ayurveda Acharya. But besides that, real seeker. I said, unheard, unknown, unsung. Go from this world. He got it. So one should remain silent, do one's own duty, one work without showing to others. One who need know knows everything. God knows everything. Therefore we need not have any certificate from any human being. We need not have applause from the masses. We need not have praise from people around us. Oh, you are a noble man. No, we don't need. God knows everything. Guru also knows to some extent. But who is a guru? That person in whom you have unshakable faith becomes a guru for you. Anyway, so for worldly things, combination of three factors: desire, effort and destiny. For self-realization or God experience, only desire, but only, there should be the only. मेरे तो गिरधर गोपाल दूसरा न कोई. Girdhar Gopal or Lord Krishna belongs to me and nobody else. This is the literal translation in English. Krishna belongs to me, nobody else. To cut off this nobody else is not easy. And Lord God is with me and mine. I belong to Him or He belongs to me. But now what comes? But at least minimum money I need, God will arrange for it. No condition. Surrender is never conditional. Those people who say, we surrender, but no place. Surrender means surrender. Complete surrender. If you add but, no surrender. I think that should be sufficient for today. So, that thing I have explained. Particularly, some seeker has written that in the business of all that some problems are coming. One thing more. If there are no problems in life, what life would be there? Challenges in life are for our own evolution. If all people in the world here, on this planet of Earth, are sitting in meditation, what will you do? All people you find sitting calmly, all Buddhas, what will you? This is not the pattern of this world. I explained several times, this world is composed, or the nature is composed of three elements: tamas, rajas, sattva. All the three exist always. There is a difference only in proportion. Slowly we have to go towards sattva, but tamas and rajas also remain. If there are no people against you, then what use will be there of bravery in you? For example, these days, if China does not show its own intentions, motives to India, then how India will become strong? By the way, China is one such country which tries to give ultimatum to almost all the neighbors to China, all countries. They always say, this part belongs to us. And when they have that part, after 5 years, more part beyond it. Like that everywhere. Many of you might have heard even from the seekers from the West, that Ravana Yuddha. Ravan is always there. Who was against Ram? Ravan ultimately gets killed, but ultimately only. Before that, there is a great war. In the same manner, in our own bosom inside, always there is going on Ravana Yuddha, that battle between good and bad, good and bad, good and bad. What I explained yesterday or day before that struggle between mind and intellect, I explained. And by intellect, you may be remembering those who heard that day, by intellect I means faculty of discrimination. This is right, this is wrong. I think it is enough now.